very short notice, but yeah, this is something that we want. Thankfully, we have Deven this time to tell you all how they can, like the way you have mentioned about prepping for that, about performing better and winning the race, like winning the high 90, like 20%. Yeah, so we will get a lot of tips and a lot of hacks. And before we start, the session has been is about to be recorded today. We will not be streaming live this time, but yeah, we'll put the recording sooner on YouTube post the event. We can see Devin, hi. Thank you so much, everyone, and hi from everyone too. Thank you so much for joining us. Your mic is muted, yes? Is it?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Can't hear you.
No, there's like construction nearby, so I'm just trying to mute myself as much as possible.
I can only not hear you.
Yeah.
Only unless you want.
Oh, you can't hear me? Hello?
Can you guys hear Devin? Can somebody put in chat? Can you guys hear Devin? Why am I not able to hear them?
We can.
You can, right?
Hi, Devin. Thank you. Yes, I can hear you. Thank
Hi.
Thank God.
Okay.
Okay. We are not focusing much on counts this time with how many participations we give because we are expecting we would not get much because it was just an hour prior notice. Okay, so a quick introduction. Devin has won Hack 19, and I will not introduce him much because his story and the entire 1 hour would be more about him only and the way he prepares, the way he plans the entire game and presentations and the project and how to go through that entirely. So we'll quickly pass it on to him. We will be knowing about what is Hackathon, how you should prepare for that exclusively for Flutter Hackathon, and then the theme of this year and what all can be created, some random examples and ideas about it, right? Okay, so let me not eat much of your time. We requested all of you to join us by 3 and I ate almost 4 minutes, so I will not take much. And yeah, all yours, Devin. Stage is yours, screen is yours. Go ahead and
yeah. Can you just give me the questions like one by one so I don't forget them?
Sure. So the first is what is hackathon? Like we know that it's something couple of hours consistently planned wherein they're supposed to code and everything. So according to you, and how do you think about it? How do you define it so that you can prepare well? Hackathon.
Right. So a hackathon is basically it's a product development competition. So ultimately, for some kind of purpose, you have to develop a product. Now, the format and the actual use or the hackathon depends upon who is actually organizing it rather than any other factor. So, for example, if a company organizes it, then it is usually based on their use cases. So, we have problems as a company, we want to solve them. Hence, these are the problem statements in the hackathon. In this thing, in Flutter community and stuff, then the community hackathons are more like how can you showcase the platforms best? How can you showcase your actual platforms best? And that's kind of what these hackathons focus about. So it depends on what. So these are usually like large hackathons are very rarely small. So you might see very few 6-ish hour hackathons, but they're usually like pretty large, anywhere from 12 hours to 48 hours. 48 hours are slightly lesser. It's usually 36 or 12 or things like that, or 24. 24 is pretty common. So now when it comes to many competitions, how you win in those competitions is a different matter, and it depends upon what kind of competition it is. So if it's a company-based hackathon that focuses on the company's problems, then they will pick the winner upon who solves the problem best, because they know what the issues are with each solution. So that is how you win a company hackathon. A community hackathon, you win by being the most impressive out of the box. So integrating the most features, having the most flashiness without being gimmicky. So you win those things by you win each hackathon by a different kind of by a different kind of product that you build. So you usually have a team, but sometimes not, but mostly you do have a team. You have 24 to 48. I think in this case you have 48 hours. The main thing you have to focus on in those 48 hours is, the point of 48 hours is that anyone who doesn't have any code right now, I'll tell you right now, a lot of people are going to use pre-existing code. Maybe you, maybe everyone else, doesn't matter. But the point of 48 hours is that you get all the time you want to build everything that you want from scratch. So that isn't a problem to you anymore when you have a 48-hour hackathon. But last time we just had a 5-hour hackathon. And I think why there was a 5-hour hackathon is because I think just before Hack 19, we had a competition called Flutter Create, which many of you might have participated in, where you had to do as much as possible in 5 kilobytes of dot code. When you have 5 kilobytes of dot code, you are trying to do the most in the least amount of code. And with Hack 19, it was like you were trying to do the most in the least amount of time because you only had 5 hours. So it was more of a thing to focus about how can you do the most things possible in just 5 hours. So last year's competition was pretty good. Pretty much everyone in the community participated, and you can see the community is growing. Here's the trophy if you want to look at it. Like there's a,
Wow,
it glows, but I don't have any batteries on it. But how that worked is you had local hubs. So we were in the Pune hub. Pune had 2 hubs. I don't know how, but we were in the Pune hub, and then we won that, and then you had to go voting for the entire world, and then you have to win in that. So I don't know the exact feature in this thing because I don't think they've released many details on the voting system or if they're gonna have a voting system, but. You generally want, since this is a community hackathon, you generally want to build the most. You want to impress users. You don't care about state management. You don't want to care about don't think too deep. Think about how think about the people looking at it. Don't think about scalability and stuff. I've seen people argue about using provider or using this and that inside hackathons. Don't use use set state. Doesn't matter. No one's going to look into your code. Like there are a select few competitions which actually do look at your code and they judge you based on code simplicity or code neatness or whatever. That is not. I don't think this is one of them. So you don't need to worry about that. So here, do the most possible things. Be the most. What you need to do to win this thing is different. You need to do. You need to have many. You just need to impress whoever is looking at it. And that will be in multiple kinds of use cases. But we will explain. I'll explain that slightly better in like slightly later. But for now, a hackathon as a whole is a product development competition. You have a lot of time to build the most solid product that describes their theme perfectly and impresses the most users in this case. Or sometimes you have judges. This time we don't exactly know the system is, but according to the system, you do have to shift how you're going to develop it. With judges, you have to think deeply. With people, you have to make it much more flashy. That's really all I can say about hackathons in general.
Yeah. Guys, I am just requesting, I hope you guys are making notes of whatever he is saying, because when you guys will be confused what to create, how to just complete this entirely and give that of satisfaction. Maybe some terms like it should be a product development, it should be considered that way. This might help you all to reach to at least something presentable. That will give you okay, I invested 48 hours and I made something. At least I learned something that can be presented. So some terms definitely try to make notes the way you want to, traditional or in Notepad, whatever you want to. But yeah, I think this would be good enough to to prepare their mind. I believe that it should be a product development thing. That's how it should be. The entire process should go on, even mentally. So the coding wise. Second would be like exclusively, you almost covered that, but if you have anything additional to add on, how Flutter Hackathon should be prepared.
So see, Flutter hackathons are slightly different in which some hackathons are focused on how does the product, let's say, what are the how can you use a product best basically. So for example, there are some theme-based hackathons which are like blockchain or AI ML. Those are very different. In this case, you want to show how can you use Flutter best, right? So for example, what if you can use something that different, like that is different in Flutter than in everything else, then something is like then something then that becomes a point of impression for others, because in general what you kind of want to do is you want to have a feature set, but along with that you kind of want let's just say you could call them gimmicks, you could like, or some kind of flashiness in your app, some feature which I recommend having something which is newer to Flutter as a whole, and that might depend entirely upon you. So for us, we had used AR. AR was a relatively new concept at the time, and we had to hack on a lot of stuff just to make it work. But in your case, you can pretty much think about what is new to Flutter right now. And I do not mean non-nullability or anything like that. That is not what you mean. What you mean is something that is user-facing, right? So what is something new to Flutter that is user-facing and which might impress people? So I can't think of a straightforward example, but the thing is, for example, right now, if you can develop it for all platforms, or if you can if you can make something work which let's say on web, which it did not do before, then suddenly it becomes something novel, something new. So that is kind of how you want to think of it. So do something which is new to Flutter, new enough to be like pretty new to a lot of people, but not old enough to be completely developed and anyone can use it. So that is the kind of thing you want to think of, and you want to make sure you glorify what Flutter does best. That is the point of a Flutter hackathon over everything else.
Right. Like using most of the Flutter exclusive features maybe that can attract the crowd while judging and filtering the product. That's what you mean?
I wouldn't say exclusive, but rather than exclusive, but maybe a better word would be, that's why I just say new to Flutter. See that if you think about what Flutter is, it's just a connecting platform between all of them. So there's not. So when I say, I just mean like new, because there's very few features you can find exclusive to Flutter where you're not in code. So that just becomes a bit too much of an ask.
Okay. Okay. So I think that is well answered. Flutter hackathon, how that should be prepared. Themes. These nine themes are like, oh, what to create, how to create. So if you can elaborate, touch base a bit about themes of this year.
Yeah. So by the way, have they announced more themes, or are they just two?
There, like few things are yet to announce. We aren't sure if any more themes are to be added over there. But again, it's quite unpredictable.
There are just two themes, right?
Just
There's just two themes, right?
Yeah.
So the first one is saving the plan. So here's the thing with themes, and I think we were discussing it yesterday as well. See, the themes are kind of meant to knock you off. Last time they had very objective themes. Like for example, our theme of what we picked was Job Finder, and there's nothing new. Like you don't need to imagine something. You know objectively what a Job Finder contains. It has a job listing, it has bio or whatever. So you know what you need to build into it, and then you can figure out what you want to build on top of it, which is like a new USP, let's just say, for your app. But when it comes to something like this, like saving the planet, there are a million ways you can save the planet, right? And now you have to think of, see, the two themes. One is saving the planet, and they are not connected in any way, right? They are not. There's not any kind of connection. One is a cyberpunk future, and the second is saving the planet. So let's just look at each one. And first of all, saving the planet. If I was participating, I would not take it. I'll tell you why. So the thing is, saving the planet, one, it's too broad. It's way too broad. I mean, what can you realistically have? I mean, you can build anything you want. Maybe like anything you want, you can build it, and then you can still justify it as saving saving the planet in some way or whatever. But there's no way to make it like a genuinely you need to think really hard to make it substantially above over all the other applications that are going to be in the other category. And why I'm saying I would not pick it is because of the other category. So first of all, what is a cyberpunk future, or what is cyberpunk future as a theme? Cyberpunk, or if you've played the game Cyberpunk 2077 or any of those, what cyberpunk really means is, imagine the movie The Matrix. Now, yeah. So imagine the movie Matrix. So what he was referring to, Keanu Reeves, is the cyberpunk thing we had. Cyberpunk really means is imagine, but Keanu Reeves was also in the Matrix, so it kind of happened to be a nice coincidence. But so imagine the matrix. What is the matrix? A computer ruled future. Okay, so that now first just think of it like that. So a computer ruled future, and think of it as a dystopian future. So like, a dystopian is more of a dystopia is more of a future where let's just say it's bad. I mean, it's not good. It's not everyone helping each other out like we imagine it to be. A cyberpunk future is more a computer ruled world, but in a sadder sense. Okay, so think of the movie Tron, or think of the movie The Matrix, and that is the kind of thing you want. So what it will have is, so I'll tell you what that means in apps, right? That means you will have, you just imagine like, flickering light or stuff like that. Like when you imagine that kind of a scene, you have a darkish background but with glows. Or imagine the streets of Japan, right? So imagine like a dark street in Japan where you still have these neon signs on top, but then you have these dark streets underneath. So that is the kind of image you want to build your app with. So a dark theme with a glow, that is the kind of app you're targeting. Now, what types of app, or what is the example of an app you would build with Cyberpunk Future? So one really good thing is, if we're targeting the future, build apps which might be useful in the future, right? So it doesn't need to be something, you don't need to use a futuristic theme and then build an app for today. You can have a futuristic theme and build an app for 10,000 years from now.
Right.
Rent out rockets from SpaceX, or anything you like. I mean, that is the kind of thing you want to target. So you want, if you can imagine the ICS, like the Android ice cream sandwich theme, which was like holo dark. So there you had a dark theme, but with but the accent was like a glowy blue, and that is the kind of theme you want to push this into. So I just to have, I don't know if it displays it perfectly, but I have an example. I'll just share my screen. I just need to show you a picture really.
Sure.
Just a second.
Again, request everyone. I hope you guys are making notes and you can share with your other classmates.
Which screen can you see, by the way? Can you see yourself or the airplane?
Can't see your screen yet. Can you guys see your screen? I'm still not able to. Okay,
yes, okay.
Sunny
Which screen can you see though? I don't know. This is a very horrible interface. Okay.
Okay.
So look at this. Forget this, but look at this thing over here. So it's this text kind of glows, and you can consider this kind of darkish background and glowy text over something. So you have translucency, you have glowy things, and a dark background. So that is, in general, a lot of cyberpunk things also have like a magenta-ish color. So if you want that, you can also use that. That's why even if you look at their website, you'll see like a magenta bluish car, like the car from Tesla. So you can see that kind of a theme, and this is the kind of thing you want to make, like have some translucency, have some glowiness, but overall a dark kind of theme. So ideally, if I was participating right now, what I would ideally do: one, choose a cyberpunk future theme, and I'll tell you why. It isn't about what you can build with Save the Planet. By the way, if they are announcing two sets of prizes for two different themes, then it's a different story. You can do what you like. You then if you have any ideas, definitely go on those. But if they have just one set of prizes like last time, then what you have to do is, first I would recommend going with this, because there's going to be a lot of really good UI in this theme. There's not going to be equivalently good UI in Save the Planet. Okay, so I would go with this theme. You want to build a really good UI, and I would recommend build an application for 100 years from now, build an application for 1,000 years from now. And if you can do those, if you can make your UI sufficiently impressive enough, and then that is enough to win, let's say, local hub, but then you want to win internationally. When you want to win internationally, you have to have at least one feature that is new. It is not very, very common in Flutter apps. What that feature is, it is up to you because that depends on the application. That might be, let's say, MLKit APIs. That might be any really anything you have. But I would suggest something that's new, something that's very recent in development. But that's the way kind of way I would approach it. So in summary, saving the earth, so saving the planet, lots of ideas. Really up to you. I'm pretty sure most of you have an idea, but if you're not sure if that would work out in the long term. And cyberpunk future, imagine a dark dystopian future with where computers rule all over the planet. Your app should look like Tron the movie, The Matrix the movie, stuff like that. And your application must be something that's not designed for now at all. So that is the kind of theme you want to pursue on each of them.
Yeah.
By the way, if you have any questions about these themes, they are a bit confusing, so you can ask them right now if you have them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to question next. If you guys have any questions regarding theme base, I would just ask, please put in the chat box. And Sunny, so last time when we were like hosting this Hack 19, what you felt, what the students or the participants were stuck or facing kind of challenges while preparing for that? What all kind of stuff that you saw that they are confused with? They need help from mentors, or we saw that people were struggling with the kind of ideas what should be prepared within those five hours only. So now thankfully they have more time, but things are way more different than the live hackathon happens mostly. So if you are like for that perspective, if you have any questions that Devin can probably touch base.
One thing to note is like last year, since the difference now is like the difference in time, like last year we have 5 hours and this time we have 48. You are expected to build a much more complete product.
Exactly.
Last time
Yeah.
I admit our project was very incomplete, and that was a very simple reason. 5 hours is a very short amount to do anything at all.
Yeah.
And 48 hours you are expected to build a complete product, but that has many meanings. When I say a complete product, I mean if you have a concept of let's say renting or something like that, then you should have like a booking page, you should have a checkout page, you should have a thank you screen, stuff like that. So it should be a complete experience if anyone wants to try it out, because 48 hours is a significant amount in the Flutter world. It's simple as that. So you are, even if it's about what Sunny said, you should have inspiration. See, first of all, it's, even if you can blindly copy, that's actually like it's very hard to blindly copy a lot of times. So because every app uses a different kind of structure. Some people extract the widgets, some people just put it in like that. So it's not very easy to do it. But just make sure that you're not like, see, are you actually getting a full module out of another app, or are you getting one component out of another app? The first one is plagiarism, the second one is inspiration. So make sure you know the difference between the two, and you don't want to if they see components of full like exactly like other apps or something that already exists, then your app might get flagged for plagiarism, and that is one thing you do not want. So make sure you know the difference between like what is plagiarism or what is inspiration.
Right, right. I believe that's strongly important to know if at all you want to play smartly during hackathon. We have Flutter Gandhinagar organizer, Parth. Parth, can you turn on the camera and shoot your questions, or if you have any doubts or
Just,
could add on
just give me,
something?
just give me 5 minutes. Sorry.
5 minutes. Okay, no, that's all right. Okay, so I think this is done. Any tips for coding, like smart coding or being neat and more productive during this 48 hours, Devin?
Is there any specified team size? Like, is the team size like last time?
2 to 4, I guess it is, yeah? No? No?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Generally, that's how it will turn out.
yeah, that's why I haven't seen anything concrete from them. That's why I'm asking you what is, because you're organizing it. That's why I'm asking you like what is exactly
Yeah,
happening.
that hasn't been concretely announced yet, but mostly
Yeah.
that's what we have seen so far. 2 to 4, that's how they limit it. 4.
Right. So main thing to note is don't do something which is not going to be shown to the user. Don't build a setting screen when you don't need it. Don't build like they don't have the nice shared preferences and stuff. Make sure you build what is necessary. Don't overdo it. 48 hours is a lot, but it's not all the time in the world. So the main thing to do is when you have this much time, divide work very nicely. Do not merge errors are the last thing you want in a hackathon. Has happened with me. We've erased many hours of code just because of one thing, but make sure you have a nice distinction between who's doing what, and that will make you actually be the most productive. And if you split work accordingly, then that's the best thing you can do. And the hardest thing I've had is see, the thing is, no matter who you work with, like at any company, and like with the level of how much you're familiar with Flutter always differs. So
Yeah.
Sometimes what happens is somebody cannot do it. Sometimes somebody just gets done really quickly, and then that task just becomes very badly handled. So just make sure you know who is capable of doing what. Frankly speaking, because I don't just diminish them as you can't do anything, but just make sure you know how much a certain person can do in, let's say, 4 hours, and then assign work accordingly. Because without that, you're just going to end up with people who are frustrated all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like
Okay.
last time our team I had met for the first time on we had been talking beforehand, but I met them for the first time over there. What we understood was, even though we had very different skill sets, I was an Android developer, some of them were Java, some of them were web, so we were from very different backgrounds, but overall we understood we were very cohesive as a team. And that's why we were able to be a very agile in terms of what we can change. Like, I can't do this, you do it, you can do it, I'll do it. So we were able to do it much better than we expected it to, and that, I think, that's what kind of helped us become the most efficient in that point of time.
So was it like, how did you guys formed and started up with it? You guys decided that this is how we'll prepare entirely, like a prototype kind of thing, notebook, something like that, and then you started
Yeah.
coding in. Is it?
So the theme first of all, we didn't have themes before the hackathon. We had themes. Okay, this is an update. Save the Planet, Retro, Cyberpunk 2. Is Retro one theme? Oh, okay, there are 4 themes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Retro will always. So Retro is pretty. Retro is essentially old-fashioned, and that might mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. But Retro, you can just see like what they've distinguished as is the first set is very, let's say, time conscious, like right now what is happening or stuff like that. The second theme is like past and future. So retro is retro might mean many things. So for example, I think me and Sunny were talking about neomorphism, but if you know about skeuomorphism, there was like there's like a thing where you actually model real like icons and stuff based on the real world counterparts. For example, the YouTube logo doesn't look like an actual TV, but it did earlier. So Apple worked on skeuomorphism the bit before. So skeuomorphism is a very nice analog to retro themes, which I like. So you can look at skeuomorphism, SKEU morphism, and that gives you a very nice into retro. And then Cyberpunk Future will be explained. Save the planet is a very wide thing. Pretty much, you run along with your imagination. What we've learned during the pandemic is a very interesting thing. I mean, that is going to be very public health conscious. That's going to be like, very maybe take care of yourself, wash your hands, set reminders, those kinds of apps. That's one thing you
Yeah,
could do.
yeah.
Otherwise, what have we learned towards the pandemic? And then you can also do you can also do like let's see. Yeah, so for example, mental health is one thing that we all learn to take care of during the pandemic more than before. So maybe something like that could be implemented in that. So if you see Headspace or Calm or those kinds of apps, similar, you could implement a similar design. Lot of stuff possible. Oh, there was something as well.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Path just pasted a base 64 encoded image onto the chat.
We are so happy, guys. She was literally occupied now, but yeah, we're so happy and so excited to have two winning team members now with us. Hi, Devasmita. This is entirely Flutter Ahmedabad audience. Super excited to listen to all both of you. And
Path, are you
getting
working
some
along the side, or is
tips.
it like can Google Meet support base 64 and I did not know it?
No, actually, I just copied URL from Google Images just to give an example on skeuomorphism, but it turned out to be a base 64.
Uh-huh.
So Google technically played.
I had to work hard to convert everything to base 64, and now it does it automatically. That is just unfair.
Yeah, so let me change the correct URL if you guys want to see it. So like Instagram also had a kind of skeuomorphism logo beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Before
if
people start thinking who you are, quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Darth, I'm an organizer of GDE Gandhinagar, and I kind of started with Flutter in around 2000, late 2017. But from like around 1 year, I am kind of on hiatus because I was trying to get into more Angular stuff.
Yeah, you broke up with Flutter, Bharat. How can you do this?
Huh?
You broke up with Flutter for a couple of months. How
No,
can
no,
you do
it
this?
was not like that. It was not like that because technically I am an electronics student.
Okay.
And I got started with JavaScript and all, so I didn't knew how you basically manage classes and everything when I got started with Flutter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I thought I should at least explore the basics first, how to work with like different kind of architectures with strongly typed languages because I had no experience beforehand in any typed languages. And as you know, JavaScript has runtime types, but they are kind of a gimmick. So because of that, I was on a bit of hiatus, but I am trying to get back into Flutter now. So
anyone who started around that kind of time, like late 2017, I can guarantee they hated it for some time. I mean, because at the start, like especially even I started around that time, which was like, and everything which you can just easily do now, you simply could not. I mean, there was no tooling. You couldn't, you the alt enter or command enter, like the command enter.
Yeah, yeah.
That was simply not there. You miss a bracket, you have to go back and find out. Oh, okay, where is the bracket I'm missing? And that is the kind of thing. That's why I was very frustrated with Flutter the first time I tried it, because I didn't understand. Like there I was drag and dropping in Android, and suddenly I come here and now I'm supposed to manage brackets without any kind of help. So anyone who tried it, I can guarantee they did not like it at first. It kind of grew on them. Now it's at least possible to like it from the start.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing that I like most about Flutter, because I tried to get into Android development way earlier, around like same year. But the thing that I hated most was the compile time and everything that I had to do with Android Studio, because I was only familiar with VS Code and web, and how things were like a bit quicker in iterations. Let's say, for example, if you have changed just the color, you didn't need to build your entire app and install it on your phone again. So because of that, I kind of got frustrated with Android and left it. And while working on Ionic in 2017 of February, I somehow found Flutter. At the time, I rejected it because like who will learn a totally entirely new language with Flutter,
Same.
with that and everything. and I regretted the decision of not getting started with Flutter when I saw it. But it's been so awesome because it has helped me a lot of ways because it has helped me write better code in Angular as well as like in any part because everything I knew about classes, strongly typed languages comes directly from that. So when I see, for example, recently in my company, we have a trainee who is training on Android. So when I saw him make a list view and like create adapters and stuff, I thought like this is too much of code just to create a list view. So it's like I guess Flutter is pretty amazing because like it gives you so many things. It gives you freedom with UI that you cannot get directly on traditional platforms. Or you can do it, but you have to write so much code. So
Really,
like
like how where that comes from is in a different kind of way, right? I mean, they are with adapters and everything. They are making you kind of architecture the app in a certain way,
yeah,
and but that is solving the problems of people who have been doing Android for like 5 to 7 years, and that's what you're solving the problems of. So suddenly, when a newcomer comes in, then that person asks, "Why am I doing adapters? What is the difference? Like, why can't I just
yeah,
directly supply data to views?" And when you have those kind of questions, and it's hard for us to answer them. I mean, there should be a different way. There should be an easier way to do it. But now this is that just shows that that platform does not adapt time wise. Like maybe 2 years from now, maybe Flutter might go that. For example, right now some things, if you saw like scope model, that was much easier to understand what provide, like provider or those things. Provider is really easy to understand in a way, but when you got these earlier state management systems, you can now those are solving the problems of the earlier generation, which are like the current ones. Like, but
yeah,
if you've never worked with inherited widgets, you don't know what the problems are, what you're trying to solve a provider. And then you don't know. Now they're solving even higher levels of problems. So with like I think Remy launched Reverpod and stuff. So now when you go into like fourth or fifth iteration, you kind of lose the track of what problem were you trying to solve 4 generations ago. And I
yeah,
think that's what kind of happened with Android. It did not try to keep track with the beginners who actually approached the subject.
yeah. So same thing with me. So I tried scope model and everything, but at first I didn't knew how to do state management because I was only used to working with Angular, and Angular does it for you automatically. You don't need to write a single piece of code to manage your state,
That's true.
right? Yeah. So because of that, it was a bit weird to me. Why do I need to call an extra function when I can just I can do it like this in web? Flutter is a bit more advanced, right? So why is it not like that? But now I kind of understand why it's necessary.
I um
Yeah. So
I
I guess we should get back to the topic of hackathon because
so
this
I think
conversation
Alright.
will
so
go on forever.
Ria says we had an idea regarding social interaction during physical distancing, and our research based on it. Okay, so just to let you know, see here, I'll be honest, it is not as much about the idea as much the Flutter app itself. So how much are you using Flutter is the question over how good is the idea. So if you have some kind of Google hackathons or those like that, those focus on idea. They're your implementation. As long as you can prove you can do it, you're accepted. But here it's more about focusing on the qualities of the Flutter platform. So if you can make it in some way that suggests that this was very, let's say, easy with Flutter, or we're using something good with Flutter, then maybe you could have it. But that's what I'm saying. At least make sure you have like, quite honestly, this is not an idea focused hackathon. It's more of a final product and how it looks and how it behaves
Implementation.
type. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, like it sounds like a great idea, but I'm just like, don't try too hard on the idea when they're not going to pay a lot of attention to it. Especially if they have a voting system like last time. What happens is people go on looks very easily. They do not care about code. So you might have the most amazing stack, and then people won't like it because it's too complicated. But look, an app with a fancy animation that won out. No, and that will happen when you have a lot of people just voting. So just make sure that if you're pursuing that idea, you don't at some point just lose touch that this is supposed to be a really really good looking Flutter app. That's the main. You have to have that, and then on top of that you can have your idea to implement. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So all about implementation. It should look, it should be, when we present, it should sound that way. That yeah, that's something that it can be promoted. It can be more visible. I think. Okay. Yeah, we hope that your question got answered and you got some more ideas what all you can extra additionally think of creating and building something great this weekend. Okay, thank you, Bar. Thank you for coming and joining us. Yeah, we have Devasmita. And yeah, thank you, Devasmita. Please welcome. And yeah, come up. And so far, what we discussed, Devin told how the hackathon should be um, taken and considered while preparing, and the game plan, how it should be divided, the work and all. So you can put in your thoughts in that.
Yeah, it's pretty much same. I think Devon has covered, pretty much everything. So last year also, I was actually hearing Devon say that last year also we were. So it's kind of not that hackathon where you basically focus on the idea itself. It's basically what you use of Flutter, kind of like that. So last year also, so our main thing was, cherry on the top was the AR thing. So we actually thought, okay, so we will find what is new in Flutter and let's kind of try to use that in our app. So we found, okay, so AR VR was there. So we used ARKit, and that actually was the cherry on the top. So kind of, I think you should be focused on the Flutter new releases or the new features that they're trying to do rather than the idea itself. So a little bit of idea, and I would say like more about Flutter would do that job.
What do you think about the themes of this year? Therefore, basically, we just got an update. I'm not sure if you got a chance to go through that. I can just quickly tell you what all this time. The first is Save the Planet, and the other one is what we have learned during the pandemic. Third one is Retro, and the last one is Cyberpunk Future. Devin has already introduced a lot about it, so people would be not blank anymore. But yeah, you can put in your thought. That would really help them.
I would really prefer the what you have learned in pandemic, because this is the new norm, right? So I think we should embrace it, and we should how to embrace it, and how we have to, like, basically COVID-19 is something that we have to take this with us for, because it's not gonna go in very quickly, right? So kind of, I think something sort of social distancing application or sort of like that would be best. Like, I would have chosen that.
And what would you try to create out of it? Like, if you are the participant, you are the winner. You can consider that way. So what would you build up within the 48 hours?
What would I? Okay, so probably the thing that how to lessen the distance. I know there are like a lot of applications like that. Mainly to focus on things. Maybe a book application where you are reading something and then you are sharing something with others, because we cannot chat right now with not chat means with not without with the application. It's just we cannot just sit together and chat, kind of that feeling if you can have from an application. I know that I think that would be better, like, to lessen the distance.
Well, maybe just on one comment
on maybe using the
theme for the pandemic. So the problem with the pandemic theme is, there is a phenomenon called caution fatigue. So caution fatigue is where you've been told so many, like, you've been cautioned about something so many times, like, okay, this pandemic is bad, this is bad, and you're really tired of hearing it at one point. And when you see more and more stuff regarding that, whatever it is, even if it's slightly happy news, it still becomes like it just brings in a kind of sad emotion for you. So it just becomes, you're tired. Why is everyone leaving the house? Because they're tired. They know it's dangerous, but this kind of caution fatigue hurts us a lot, and that kind of carries over to when, especially if there's a voting system, it becomes a big no-no when you're doing it, because suddenly you have a system where your idea is going to evoke negative emotions just because how people are trained, just because you've been hearing this negative press for a long time now, you're just tired of it. So that's why I would suggest for now, take people's mind off the pandemic than on it. But again, I mean, if your idea is good enough, if you have a great enough implementation, then I mean, you can definitely try it out. So I'm not saying don't do it, but like that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Great. So since we have both of you in the house now, and were it like any challenges you guys face that this is only 4 to 5 hours, we do not have much time, we'll have to quickly wrap up everything within this limited time.
We
So
were properly just glued to our screens. We did not move for 5 hours. We got up with a headache, and plus we had to present on a live stream to the entire Flutter Hack 19 thing. So it was a it was funnily enough, the challenge was winning locally, not globally. Because locally you actually see the people who you're interacting with, you actually know the teams, and because then your, let's just say, showmanship actually comes to play. How well you can present your thing. So winning locally was a bigger deal to us, quite honestly. But after that, then it just becomes upon what you did with your time. If there's a local section to it, definitely make sure you tackle that kind of thing. But for us, we were just spending our 5 hours. Like we spent some time planning and then just did not stop coding as a whole. We just assigned, coded, done.
Yes, but what I remember is like basically we sticked to our tasks. So everybody had different tasks, and we didn't mix and match. So basically everybody was doing their job. Nobody was interacting anyone. So that was a very good decision from us, right?
Yeah, true. We didn't have any. There was no way. We didn't waste any time. We had a very good back and forth on ideas, and but after that, we knew what we had to do. We didn't change much, and that's kind of. But here you have because now you have 48 hours. You have a much greater leeway in terms of what you want to do.
okay. Devasmita, we aren't able to hear you properly. Maybe the voice is not coming out properly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah. So what I see, it's very clear. So like the sound of rain or something.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, see, we got only 5 or 6 hours, right? So we couldn't make the whole application. But now that you have got 48 hours, you have to make a complete application. It cannot be like in between.
Okay. There are a lot of maybe internet issues happening. Yeah, guys, Divya, please go ahead.
No. I was just repeating what she said. She has the same point. Build a whole application because you have more time now.
True. Yeah, 48 hours, as you say, people the community would be expecting that it won't be a small thing, limited couple of things only, but it would be something concrete this time within those 48 hours, because it is quite possible. As you said, it is not everything. It is not the whole time of the world, but yeah, 48 hours are pretty much better than the last 5 hours of hackathon. So they can actually create a lot of stuff, and since they have 2 complete days to prepare something, they would have. Since you both shared your ideas, so they will not be blank anymore. Definitely, regarding themes and a lot of things, how they can divide their team, how they can contribute better as a team players, and a lot of things. What they can pick from Flutter contributions and Flutter existing stuff, and then they can try to collaborate all together. Great. That would be awesome for sure. Devasmita, any tips from you to prepare the entire game plan?
I'd say plan beforehand and then stick to your task. It's 48 hours, so I think people will not sleep. They will basically code for 48 hours, and that would be awesome. But yeah, stick to the plan and then create whatever you're creating. Try to create the whole thing and more Flutter. Not like it's not you have an amazing idea, but you couldn't complete because it was very big. It shouldn't be like that. I think it should be a small idea which will be impactful plus more Flutter. So kind of like that.
Okay, all Flutter, Flutter, Flutter. Do not forget Flutter.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty much sorted and a lot of takeaways from this. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please put in the chat box. We can quickly ask them because we cannot eat much of that time as well. And in the meantime, you guys will brainstorm a bit. We do have like Flutter Ahmedabad is hosting Hack 20 this time, and the description and everything, all the good to know stuff and must know stuff has been mentioned on the meetup page. We would just request to take a look at that and go through that. If you have any question, you can probably put in the put in our tweet box or maybe ask in our meetup page. Or yeah, you can make a post out of as well. If you have any doubts, if you want to reach out to Devin and Devasmita, we have their Twitter handles mentioned and description for this event as well. We will again now put in the chat box, also in the YouTube description, so you can reach out to them for if you have any doubts, or they would be super happy to help you. But now, if you have any questions, do let us know. Else, we will be wrapping up within next 5 to 7 minutes, I guess. Sunny, do you want to add on something? Yeah, it would be like an opportunity for us this time, Sunny, to be the 24/7 support for at least those 2 days. Get them some really good mentors who can troubleshoot their queries like anything, and they won't be stuck somewhere. We'll definitely be. That's what we are actually concerned. Being a part of the organizing team, that we'll just try to ensure that you guys won't be stuck somewhere. But again, to how to start with that, the preparation stuff, Devin and Devasmita has covered almost everything. How you can pick the topic, how you can think about it all, and you have time rather than like thinking right away and picking the topic right in the room. Now you have 2 days to think what can be created, and you can again agree, disagreement, a lot of stuff with your team, discuss with them, and get that concrete set of plan. You are free to change it anytime whenever you feel, but 48 hours are good enough, I guess. That you can definitely create something beautiful, because Flutter is there to make things beautiful in any possible ways. So this is the time, like you use these 2 days, most of it, and try to bring something that will give you that satisfaction and that amazing experience that you did something well. After all, yeah, and online hackathons have been different, live hackathons have been different always, but this is the opportunity we need to present ourselves best. Still, I'm just expecting if you guys have any questions, please let us know in the chat box. And if you do not have any, we can just we can thank them. And it was great and amazingly fruitful session. Definitely, we were constantly getting questions. We are clueless about the themes, what can be created, and this 1 hour was definitely, we believe definitely it was helpful. It would be helpful to you. We will put this live on YouTube, so that we'll put this on YouTube and you can just go through that. You can share it with your team if they are not able to join us now, and that would be helpful. Do you guys have any more questions?
All the best to everyone.
Yes.
And make sure you use the time well.
Yes. Great. Devasmita, anything you want to add on now before saying bye to this crowd?
Pretty much it. Like, be excited. It's a very nice thing to have. I hope you will be creating such amazing stuffs that we can see, and it would be good, exciting.
I think last time you were able to participate alone, but I'm not sure about this. Most likely yes, but if they say like 2 to 4, then you won't. It's just It depends on the thing is they haven't like last time they had very good documentation beforehand of what the process is, but most likely
Yeah.
you will be able to.
Hopefully we would be expecting the same kind of similar kind of day agenda as well from the community, that how we can execute it better, because it would be challenging this time being virtual. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
Maybe by end of the day or tomorrow we would be getting that. So we'll keep you posted and updated, everyone. And yeah, before that, you try to make most out of this things that these both individuals shared with you. These were the gems that you can take away. I'm hoping that you guys tried making notes of that, and you can share it with us and your team, so that like, kind of that environment wherein you share your notes with your classmates. So do try that, so that everyone will get some or other things, and they won't be confused anymore. At least they won't be like they will get some confidence that they can make something, even if they are new to Flutter. 2 days will be Flutter isn't that hard to learn, so 2 days would be enough for them as well to at least understand the basics of it and research something about the themes and try to open the project development, get something. Guys, any questions, any more questions before we wrap up? Sunny has shared the link and chat box for the YouTube video link. You can go through that and share it with your needy ones. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. And again, it was for all of you. Do try to share it with the ones you feel that it should be shared with them. Again, share your notes with your classmates and your teammates, with us as well. We would be so happy to have that. And cannot thank Devin and Devasmita enough, because Flutter Day celebration is ongoing. They are badly occupied with a lot of stuff, like talks and sessions, recordings, and joining live demos and a lot of things, along with their office work. So definitely, but still they came and they joined us and they shared an amazing stuff with everyone. So thank you so much, both of you. It was an
Thank you
amazing
for having
experience
us.
for us as well. Yeah, thank you so much. It was second time that we were in Ahmedabad. Yeah, that we got Devin in the house. But Devasmita, thank you so much as well. We just asked a couple of hours back if you can join us, and she's there.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Devasmita. Thank you, Devin, again. Thank you guys for joining. Please take care of yourself. Knowledge is power, as we mentioned in the description. Keep learning and keep fluttering. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, please do. Yeah, thank you.